Gentlemen, this is the Mustang. There are some nasty rumors floating around about this ship, and we might just as well admit they're true.
I was gonna say that, you said it first. Alright, tell me something about this. Oh, that's new, isn't it?
That's just the overspray from this.
No, I'm talking about the dent.
Oh no, that's been there since I bought the car.
Oh shit. So it's a 2005?
2004. It's a 2004 Mustang. It's the last year they built this body style. It's the 4-year anniversary, which is how you can signify it's 04. So the car is a basic V6, nothing special.
Like, you got a cold air intake and like a chipped ECU, is that right? And headers.
Intake headers in the tune. It's got GT Mustang throttle body, so it's a 65mm instead of a 59mm, which opened up a lot for me. It's got an
EGR. That made a difference?
It made a difference. EGR delete by me, as you can tell. Nice plate. This car is built off of Amazon. So basically, if you buy the parts off of Amazon, it's on this car. The only thing not off of Amazon is the tune, and it's a Bama tune.
I gotcha. So is there anything on here that, like, if you were to buy the car, like, what's the first performance parts you put on it? Like, I mean, because it needed some right off the bat, right? I mean, the car is slow. I can say that.
The car is slow. I drove this car for probably 6 months with just the cold air intake on it, and I don't know if you remember or not, but we had a lot of events where the car was super quiet. It had a factory exhaust on it and everything else.
It did not stick out at your comments at all.
Not even a little bit.
It was super, super quiet, and it's also super slow. So for somebody in the KA, you know what I mean? Like, I had fun. I could finally beat up on somebody. I could finally beat up on somebody in my KA car. But this thing is actually pretty dope. After everything that he's done to it, the car has actually gotten considerably faster. It needs maybe a little bit more gear out back, you know?
Maybe a little.
But it's pretty sharp. But I mean, like, have you had any problems with it? I mean, like, you haven't really had, you've been driving it about a year, and we drove 12 events last year? 13?
13 events. It was at least one a month. Some months we did 2. So it was probably a bit of 14 events.
Right. So we probably drove, like I said, 12, 13, 14 events. The car never really had a problem. You know what I mean? As far as, like, anything else goes, there's trouble.
I mean, it's just the bare bones basic setup of the car.
No, like, my 240 broke numerous times, and this thing was, like, still trucking. So, like, motor-wise, you haven't really done anything crazy to it, and it's held up. So for, like, a beginner, and this thing's relatively easy to work on, right? I mean,
we pulled the engine out a time or two to do headers and stuff like that. I mean, it's literally 2 hoses for the radiator, pull the radiator out. Ford was really smart. Take this 10mm bolt out, and the whole harness comes out, and then the fuel line, and that's it. And then two engine mounts and a transmission mount, and the whole engine transmission comes out. Me and John over here did it in about an hour and a half. Driving the car in to having the engine out was about an hour and a half is what it took us to get the engine and transmission out.
Gotcha. But yeah, this thing drives pretty nuts. Let's see here, let me turn this around. This thing drives pretty. If I had to compare it to something, I'd probably compare it to like a 350Z that has marshmallows for a suspension. It's very soft. We kind of joke around. We call this thing a demo car a lot because it's comfortable to ride in and it's super comfortable to drive, right? And these are NRG seats, right? Are they both NRGs?
Both NRGs.
They're both.
So if I need it for safety, or I feel like I need it for safety, the passenger needs it. So the passenger has exactly what I have as a driver. So a lot of people like riding in my car just because they feel safe and they can enjoy the experience of the car instead of having to try to hold on or something like that. They can strap themselves in, get it nice and tight, and they're in the car.
As a low-key, he's low-key talking shit about me because my shit constantly gives passengers trouble. But no, I would highly recommend this for somebody that's getting into drifting simply because it's kind of idiot-proof. It's real self-explanatory. I mean, hell, Drew has it and keeps it running. That tells you it's idiot-proof right there. Yeah, no, it's comfortable, and there's room in here. There's not room like a 240. Look at this. He's got the battery behind the seat, okay, and then the passenger's got leg room. And an S chassis that would like never be a thing. You know what I mean? And he's got a harness bar, and he's got 2 spare tires and where the back seat would used to be. And an S chassis that would never fly. You know, hell, I don't even think most BMWs have room like that. We started to put a clutch in this thing today. And what was the problem, Drew?
Well, we pulled the clutch out, and the clutch doesn't look bad, as you can kind of tell. It doesn't look all that terrible. So we got doing some research, and as you can see,
yeah,
this transmission shaft is well, not.
It's a wee bit.
It's a wee bit not correct. So looks like we're gonna be junkyarding here soon, and find a new transmission for this thing.
So what kind of angle do you run on this?
So this car has the Drift Knuckles angle kit. It's been extended at about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, lower control arm, and then it's got extended inners and a cut and modified knuckle.
So the cool thing about a Mustang that I didn't notice coming from 240s is like all the angle is in the control arm. Like that's 100% of the angle comes out of this. There's nothing else involved other than the coilovers. What kind of coilover do you run on those? Godspeeds?
Godspeeds. This whole car is built off of Amazon, so if you can get it on Amazon, it's on this car.
Yeah, so you don't have to run any kind of special tie rods or anything, do you?
Huh?
You don't have to run any kind of tie rods or anything?
It came with extended inners with the kit.
Okay.
So it does have extended inners.
I got you. You're on a sway bar up front and all that good stuff too?
It does have factory sway bar.
Somebody's calling me, I don't know. This is a live rear axle, right? I mean,
yes.
Just like every other Mustang. Have
Yes.
you done anything to help with that? Because I've heard that's like that's what kills these chassis, right?
That's part of the problem. The chassis itself is really weak. But I've got the tubular control arms, uppers and lowers. And that's about it. I mean, a lot of the GT cars have the panhard bar that goes from here over to here to keep the axle from physically moving underneath the chassis. With it being a V6 car, it doesn't come with that. And I really don't have the power to worry about that.
I was gonna say, you probably wouldn't even need it, huh?
I don't even have the power to worry about it.
Have you broken anything? I don't think you have you?
No, I haven't broken.
Other than transmission. As far as these chassis go, I think that it's super simple compared to a 240. So like if you are thinking about getting into drifting and you're not mechanically inclined, I would buy one of these. They're way easier to work on than a 240 and they're not nearly as fragile as far as shit breaking on them. This thing I've watched it run off track at 80 miles an hour. I've seen it do some nuts, stupid shit. And whereas a 240, you have a bent subframe or something, you don't have that problem at all in this car. It's pretty straightforward. It's a Ford, you know what I mean? So compared to a Nissan, they're a little bit more durable. The whole idea today, we were supposed to be going to Nashville to go to a drift event, and I was super stoked about that, to go drive at a new venue. But unfortunately, this kind of came up, and it was 100% forecast for thunderstorms. So me and Drew didn't really want to drive like 6 hours to go watch lightning. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But we thought, well, we'll just get the clutch done in this car, so you know we'll have time to do stuff at a later date. But of course, then that kind of went to shit. So unfortunately, the problem now is overexposure. Well, let me change. Now that's fixed. But the problem is that the Nashville drift event was going to be the video that I was going to post on here next week to get more driving content. But of course, now that we're not going, I can't really do that. And the only place that we're going now is David's Burgers to go get lunch. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else to post next week. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do to make content. But anyway, yeah, Drew's Mustang is actually pretty dope. I like it a lot. It makes a really cool beginner demo car. I don't know exactly how competitive it would be because it's kind of hard to drive as far as keeping up with other people, but it's a pretty dope car. I would highly recommend it to people thinking about getting into drifting, and they're way cheaper than 240s are. Both parts wise, mod wise, and just outright buying the car, they're cheaper. But anyway, I will see you guys next week with something. But until then, you guys give them hell, and we will see you soon. Thanks, guys.
See, I just don't want